Over the past decade, Monaco have had their fair share of top talents, from Fabinho to Bernardo Silva and not forgetting Kylian Mbappe. Fast forward to 2022 and Aurélien Tchouameni is the latest in the line, an athletically gifted central midfielder that has caught the eye of many top European clubs. But let's find out today if that includes Arsenal Football Club. What's the latest on Gabriel Jesus from Fabrizio Romano? Could the Gunners reignite their interest in Lautaro Martinez? And has Gabriel Magalhaes committed to Arsenal Football Club? Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is Baz14. Welcome back to your boys channel, and we are back again with all of that latest Arsenal news to keep you guys up to date. So if you enjoy the content, make sure to go down there, smash a like, and also do subscribe to the channel if you are new, because we are on the road to 90k and I'm counting on you guys to make it happen. But let's get into the Arsenal news, and starting off with Aurélien Tchouameni. Before all of that to happen, what's very important first things first is the owners to back the manager once again. So when you hear Miguel Delaney report that there's no chance Mikel Arteta will be sacked this summer, even if Arsenal finish as low as 7th, the Cronkies are fully behind the Spaniard and view this season as the final season of construction. This was before the West Ham game, and since that result, it's been mathematically confirmed that Arsenal will be at bare minimum a Europa League team. It confirms that Mikel Arteta has the full backing of the Arsenal ownership, and that means in this next summer transfer window he will get a decent amount of funds. And how Mikel Arteta is going to use that? Well, he says we need to make the squad stronger, we need to make the starting 11 stronger, we want to make the specificity and personality of our players stronger, and that is what we are going to be seeking to do. There are a lot of question marks there, but this is football. So Arteta wants to make the starting 11 stronger, but says there are questions. I think the first one is the funds that are going to be available. Logically speaking, if Mikel Arteta was given £150 million to spend last summer, that without any European football, surely with the extra revenue of European football, Arsenal will have even more to spend. But the second question is more about what European competition, because in the Europa League, I guess Arsenal could still technically attract players because we have the finances. But if you want to shop in the market full of the top and best players, young and old, on top of the finances, you also have to have the law of Champions League footy. That's where Arsenal can negotiate for players like Aurélien Tchouameni. And on the player, according to Gianluca Di Marzio, a lot of clubs in the Premier League are following him, with Arsenal and Man United to name two. He would like to play in the Premier League. He stayed at Monaco another year to await a chance to play in the Premier League. Now, when you talk about superstar midfielders in the making, this is the epitome of that. 22 years of age, athletically gifted, he has broken through in Ligue 1 for Monaco. Last year he was a Ligue 1 Player of the Year and also made the Ligue 1 Team of the Season. And he's a player that excels in so many different categories. On the defensive side, averaging 3.35 interceptions per 90, ranks him up there with the top 2% of European midfielders. But he's also a very accomplished passer of the ball when it comes to progressive passes, pass completion, and very secure in the midfield phase. Standing 6'1" in height and having a pretty decent turn of pace, athletically and technically, what you have here is one of the most well-rounded midfielders around Europe as it stands. He's capable of playing as a number 6, as a number 8, and so with all of that taken into account, the fact that he's 22 years of age, I can totally understand why so many top clubs around Europe are looking for his services, which includes the likes of Liverpool, Man City, and other top European clubs. In terms of the reported price tag, we are talking up to £50 million. Now, my two big concerns for Arsenal right now is, first things first, we have to secure Champions League footy. That's very important. If we don't get Champions League footy, forget about Tchouameni. But secondly, even if we have Champions League footy and the finances, when you have clubs like Liverpool who also have genuine interest, it's always going to be a difficult transfer to make happen. Because yes, we have a very exciting project, but these guys right now are fighting for the Champions League, fighting for the Premier League, and unfortunately we're just not at that level as things stands. Whereas as things stands for Arsenal, unfortunately we're not quite there yet. Talk to me down below in the comments about Aurélien Tchouameni, 22 years of age, thriving in Ligue 1, a full French international, for the price tag of £50 million. Should Arsenal make this transfer happen? Fabrizio Romano says on his Here We Go podcast, the expectation remains that Gabriel Jesus will leave Man City at the end of the season, with Arsenal really keen and interested in the forward. Fabrizio is essentially confirming what us Arsenal fans already know, but since the links to Arsenal have started, I've seen quite a few fans actually question the transfer and question the player. If Man City are selling a player, is he worth buying, and is Jesus worth £30 to £35 million? But when you hear stats like this, it kind of emphasizes versus what Arsenal could be getting. With 58%, Gabriel Jesus has scored or assisted in 58% of his starts in the Premier League, the 4th highest rate of any player in the competition's history, behind only Mohamed Salah, Thierry Henry and Sergio Aguero. That when this guy plays and starts games, he finds a way to get involved. In terms of the stats, Jesus is up there with the best strikers in the Premier League history when it comes to goal contributions per starts. For the price tag of just £30 million, potentially we could be unearthing a gem. According to Gary Jacobs of The Times, Arsenal have rekindled their interest in Lautaro Martinez, with Inter Milan willing to accept a fee in the region of £60 to £70 million this summer. Tottenham are also interested, but Martinez wants to join the club in the Champions League. I mean, who doesn't want to play in the Champions League? But Lautaro Martinez is a player that Arsenal have had interest in the past as well. Going back to last summer, as the very reliable David Ornstein confirmed, Arsenal were looking to sign Lautaro Martinez, but since then Martinez has signed a brand new Inter Milan contract, and they've also sold Romelu Lukaku for £90 million. And this year in the Serie A, 17 league goals and 21 in all competitions, Martinez is having a personal best season. So just off the stats alone, it makes a lot of sense why Arsenal want Martinez. But I've got one massive concern, and that is Martinez has played a lot of games over the past few seasons as a secondary striker. Last year it was Lukaku, and this year it's been alongside players like Edin Dzeko. Arsenal don't need a secondary striker, we need a focal point down the middle, a player capable of playing on his own, playing as a false 9 or even outlets, providing Arsenal with a reliable central option. So as great as a player as Martinez might be, my biggest concern is, can he play as a single striker? According to Chris Wheatley, Arsenal are interested in signing Bologna left back Aaron Hickey, following his impressive performances in the Serie A, with Bologna set to be asking for the price tag of €20 million. First things first, who exactly is Aaron Hickey? 19 years of age, a Scottish international playing in the Serie A for Bologna. Out of all teenagers in the top 5 European leagues, Hickey has played the most amount of minutes. And in terms of type of player, as Adam points out, he's got great duel winning numbers, and he's also a threat to score goals with 5 league goals this season. Not a prolific passer or crosser statistically, nor an aggressive tackler, but he's rarely beaten and he's still only 19. But the very key thing here is the fact that he's ambidextrous, because as this tweet points out, Hickey uses his weak foot more often with 39% than even Tomiyasu or Santi Cazorla did with 32%. Just like with Takahiro Tomiyasu, Hickey is even better when it comes to using both of his feet, and that clearly seems to be a characteristic that Mikel Arteta likes. And I can totally understand why, because when it comes to teams pressing Arsenal, quite often you see teams pressing the fullbacks trying to force the ball out wide. But if Arsenal were to have players that are two-footed on the wide angles, no matter what angle you're pressed into, you're able to play out of it. So signing a player that's still 19 years of age would cost around £15 million, which isn't too much in the current transfer market. Is very capable of playing with both feet and can cover both the left and right hand side. Looking at the price tag, the profile and the player himself, for me, this makes a lot of sense. So potentially, Bologna and Arsenal having already sold Tomiyasu to us, we could be starting the connection once again, and maybe we'll see Aaron Hickey at the Emirates Stadium next season. Moving on, let's discuss the future of Gabriel Magalhaes, the Arsenal Brazilian international centre-back that scored a clutch goal at the weekend, winning Arsenal the 3 points. Him scoring important goals has become low-key trademark. Scoring to make it 1-0 against Leicester, to make it 3-0 versus Southampton, to win the game against Wolves, and to win the game against West Ham. He's quite clearly a very important player for Arteta and Arsenal Football Club, but he's also a player that has seemed to have caught the attention of clubs around Europe. So according to Gianluca Di Marzio, Juventus are seriously thinking about signing Gabriel Magalhaes and will try to enter into negotiations, focusing on the fact that Arsenal apparently like several Juventus players, but the negotiations will not be easy as Arsenal count on the player. But it's not just Arsenal counting on the player is also counting on Arsenal Football Club, because as Fabrizio Romano confirms, Gabriel Magalhaes' priority is to stay at Arsenal, despite interest from other clubs. The player is happy at Arsenal Football Club, and at 23 years of age sees a long-term future at Arsenal. He sees what Arsenal is building, he sees the Champions League on the horizon. This Arsenal project is very exciting and players want to be a part of that. Hence why, despite of the interest from Barcelona and Juventus, I just don't see anything happening, and that for me is things you love to see. Udinese are ready to raise the offer for on-loan defender Pablo Mari, which had been €4 million, but Arsenal have raised his valuation after good performances. There is still confidence on a deal, with room for agreements, while both clubs continue to negotiate. I don't see him returning to Arsenal Football Club. We've got too many other quality centre-backs. I think he's a decent little centre-back, but not quite the quality that Arsenal require to compete at the highest fronts if we are in the Champions League. But then again, under a long-term Arsenal contract, I think he's certainly worth more than €4 million. So with him performing at a decent level at Udinese, I think going into the future, Arsenal are able to negotiate right now and say to Udinese, you count on the player, he's got a long-term contract. If you want to sign him, give us a decent amount amount of money. According to German newspaper Bild, Dortmund defender Manuel Akanji will leave in the summer, with Man United and Arsenal said to be interested in the defender. Akanji is a full Swiss international who is 26 years of age, turning 27 in the summer, and most importantly is a player that will only have 1 year left on his Dortmund contract come the end of the season. The player himself is a decent little ball playing centre back, but do I think he's the level that Arsenal require? I don't think so. If you were to compare Akanji's numbers when it comes to passing and defending and where he excels, Arsenal actually already have a somewhat better player who is younger, set to return at the end of the season, and that is of course William Saliba. And talking about Saliba, when speaking to Prime Video recently, he has said, "My wish is to finish the season well, to leave on a good note in case I don't come back. It would be my pleasure to come back no matter what. It's not as if I know I'm not going to come back. It's Marseille, it's my club." Now some fans have seen those quotes of him saying Marseille is his club and gone, oh my god, he's not going to return. But if you actually read the quotes properly, Saliba essentially confirms that he's not sure he is going to come back. So with that being the case, he wants to end the season pretty well, which is a pretty standard thing for players to say that are out on loan. And the fact that Arsenal already have European football confirmed for next season, so automatically Arsenal have more games to play and therefore require a far bigger squad, which is perfect for the return of William Saliba alongside Ben White, alongside Gabriel. If Arsenal are to compete on all fronts, those three centre backs, the quality of those guys is going to be very important. Moving on to the other Arsenal news today, and starting off with an Arsenal loanee that is excelling in the Eredivisie, and that is Mr. Reiss Nelson. Having broken into the starting lineup, Nelson has now scored or assisted 7 goals in his last 6 appearances for Feyenoord. Not only is that things that you love to see, but also for Nelson's sake in his current part of his career, it's things that you need to see. He's 22 years of age now, so for Arsenal, him now firing at Feyenoord is going to play a very important part. But even if his future isn't to be at Arsenal Football Club, the fact that he's now scoring goals, getting assists and getting his form up there means that in the transfer market, Arsenal are able to negotiate a better price tag when it comes to selling the player. According to David Ornstein of The Athletic, 18-year-old striker Keon Edwards has ended speculation over his future by signing a long-term contract that will tie him down to Arsenal until 2025. Hill End is doing it once again. This is a player that has been on fire for the Arsenal under-18s, scoring 16 goals in 16 appearances and 17 in all competitions. So there were reportedly quite a few clubs that wanted to sign Edwards, but now that the player is committed to Arsenal, next year I think we will see him develop into the Arsenal under-23s, and past that, potentially if things go to plan, Edwards could be involved in the Arsenal first team, so let's keep an eye on it. Stat time of the day: over 156 corners faced in the Premier League and 0 goals conceded. A massive shout out to Nicholas Jover. That stat sounds amazing, but unfortunately, according to Opta, Arsenal have technically conceded 1 corner, and that was against Southampton. Despite that being a second phase where they score from, according to the stats, technically we have conceded a corner. But let's put the stats to one side and just use our eyes for a second. When it comes to directly from a corner, 34 games into the season and Arsenal are still yet to concede. Congrats to Granit Xhaka on being named the Arsenal Player of the Month for April, making it the first time that he's won the award since joining the club. For me, that is totally deserved, and since then, Xhaka has given an interview discussing the Arsenal captaincy, saying that I'm trying to lead the team without the armband, but never say never. I know I am ready. As you guys are aware, Xhaka and the Arsenal armband have a pretty bad history. The infamous game against Crystal Palace, he threw his Arsenal shirt to the floor and he cupped the ears, and that was the end of his Arsenal captaincy. But since then, under Mikel Arteta, Xhaka has transformed almost into a different player, far more reliable and definitely a player that Arteta counts on a lot more. But on the Arsenal captaincy, according to Jamie Redknapp on Martin Odegaard captaining Arsenal, he says it just feels right to me. He may not be the most vocal, but when you watch him play, he organises people. He plays the right pass. You can see from Arteta's point of view, he's almost his manager on the pitch. Is it going to be Martin Odegaard? Is it going to be Granit Xhaka? Or maybe even someone like Kieran Tierney? Talk to me down below in the comments. Who do you guys seriously think should be the next Arsenal captain? But that is the video there and there, so if you guys have enjoyed, make sure to go down there and smash a like on the video, and also to subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you would like to follow your boy on all of those social medias, then the links will be down below in the description. But that was all of the latest Arsenal news today. I hope you guys have enjoyed and been informed as always. 4 gargantuan games left. Can Arsenal secure the Champions League football? We are going to have to wait and see. Until then, take care of yourselves, and in a bit.